everybody, welcome to Into the Dark, live here on the Spirit Realm Network with Riverside, Iowa Paranormal. I am Mr. Bill.
I am Miss Kelly.
And I'm Jake.
Just Jake. What's up, everybody? Welcome. It's Saturday night.
Glad to have you back.
June 22nd, and we are live. We're going to have a good time tonight. We want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you guys very much. We do have people watching the comments tonight. They're going to be answering throughout the whole thing. Give us your comments. Give us your feedback. Remember, this is much your show as it is our show. We want you guys. We want to know that you guys are with us and doing everything with us. Just be here. Have fun. Rock it. That's all we want to do. Rockin' and rolling down to the beach. I'm strolling.
Okay.
All right, that's enough of that. So tonight we're going to cover a couple subjects.
Yep.
We're going to talk a little bit about Reiki, and we're going to talk about tarot. And they're going to be our two subjects for tonight. We want to know what you guys, if you have questions, you have concerns, just things you want to know. If during the time we're talking about anything, or we're going to start with Jake tonight with the tarot because I'm still learning. Jake is my mentor on tarot, which I think is awesome. Thank you very much, Jake.
You're very welcome.
So tonight, if we're going along and anybody out there wants to have, say Jake pull a card, or while he's shuffling, a card pops out, we'll stop that moment and Jake can read the card. It may not pertain to to a lot of us that are on here. It may pertain to everybody that's on here. So just let us know how it looks for you. So I want to start the show tonight with a very big shout out and thank you to all the men and women of the United States military and the armed forces serving.
We were doing so well.
I love you, Michelle.
To all the military people serving around the world, thank you very much for everything you do to keep this place and this nation free and keep all of us safe. You guys rock. You're awesome. Come home safe. Keep your head down. Come home to your families. That's all we want you to do. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you very, very much.
Yes.
So did we do anything lately?
No.
We haven't done an investigation in a while.
No, we haven't.
It's been a couple weeks.
We're still going over all the evidence from the one young lady's house.
Mm-hmm.
We have a couple more coming up. But other than that, it's just lots and lots of evidence. We got hours and hours of video and stuff, recordings to listen to. I know I keep saying that, but it's the honest to God truth. There's everything out there that we have to watch. But we're going to jump right into this tonight because I know we're on the somewhat. This could get a whole lot. Michelle, what you got back there?
We got a question already. So while you guys are talking about your tarot cards, we do have one person that said it would be great if you could let them know if their business will take off. So if that comes up tonight, if you can, it would be for Daphne.
Okay.
So
We'll see what happens, Daphne.
And we also got some new watchers tonight. So if you guys want to give a
Awesome.
shout out to Oregon.
Woo-hoo!
What up,
Yeah.
Oregon?
Woo, you go.
And of course, all of our regular listeners, Stephanie and all of them are
Oh,
on.
Stephanie's here again.
Yeah, with
She's
no
actually on
puppy.
time.
Awesome, Stephanie.
Hi, Stephanie. Did your neighbors get to you, Stephanie? That's what I want to know.
And we actually got one more question from Carol. And Carol says, in case you get a card, do you see any life-changing events in her near future? So those are the two questions that have come up in case your cards do jump out for them.
All right, thank you. So let's just jump right into this, Jake.
Yep.
Jake, what is this? What is tarot, and how did you get started? I mean, how did the whole thing come about?
So tarot actually started out as a game, and it was a game that was similar to our card game Bridge, and it was mostly played just by nobles, so the kings, queens, knights, people of kind of the higher standing in society. But even before that, when we talk about the history, it's important to keep in mind that it was a card game. And card games actually started out in China, I believe in the 9th century AD.
I wasn't there, so I don't know.
I hope not.
And so tarot is actually a French word. It's a French version of an Italian word called tarocchi, which translates to the name of the game that was originally played by nobility. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But with it being in China, that was where card games originally started. That's where the first cards were printed, and they were mostly done on wood carvings. But
How do you shuffle that deck? The wood card.
carving.
1, 2,
Well,
3.
that's the thing. The game they played with that was actually a game called Leaf, and it was more similar to our version of dominoes.
Would that be also like what is the that they play? Mahjong?
Yeah, but that's a matching game.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
that's a tile game. And then from China, it moved actually into India and the Middle East, Persia, which we now know as Iran. And there's some speculation of how it actually got there, how it made that jump. And what scholars can most likely agree on is that it had to do with the Silk Road that went from China into Europe and into Northern Africa, and it passed right through the Middle East.
Oh,
So
okay.
the idea was that the cards were taken along that road, and they got traded off and left behind and things of that nature. And then once it got to India, that's where they had certain cards that were called Ganjifa cards. And there was a specific subset of Ganjifa cards, and those were called Malmuk cards. And that's where we started to see more of what we would recognize as the Tower and some of those pips cards, so the swords, cups, that kind of stuff.
Well, real quick. So, Mike, I guess this is my question to you. So you're throwing a lot of this little information on, like, the different styles of cards. So can you explain the different cards that are in the deck real quick? Or is that going to be something you're going to get into?
What do you mean, like the categories?
Well, yeah. So like you were talking about, there's the tower, there's the different, there's the queen, and the like in a regular deck, there's queen, the court cards, and then you've got all the other, like, almost like playing cards.
Yeah.
So the 9s, 8, pentacles, swords, all that stuff. Can you explain those, what the differences are?
So the 7, 8, 9, 10, the 1 through 10, those are the pip cards.
Okay.
Then in a tarot deck, the Knight, King, Queen, those are the court cards. Those didn't come out until medieval Europe.
Okay.
And then the Tower, the Moon, the Sun, the Devil, the Death card, those are called trumps, which, again, you start to see more of those in the European decks in the medieval times.
Okay.
So what you're saying is tarot cards are almost like a regular deck of cards, only they have different symbols and everything that are on them. So, because with regular decks, they just have a number or whatever, but these have got several different other things on them, right?
The modern style that we use now does. The original ones that the Italians used did not. They were more like the diamonds, clubs that we would see today.
Okay.
Style-wise. Then there was the Flemish hunting deck, and that is the oldest complete tarot deck.
Okay.
There is another deck that was used in Italy, the Visconti Sforza deck, and that one is not quite complete. There's a few cards that are missing from that deck. So the Flemish hunting deck is the oldest complete deck of these cards. And that's when we started to see more of those court cards starting to appear. So the Indian and the Middle Eastern cards were just the pips, the 1 through 10. And then this next deck, the Huntington deck, was the one where they introduced the court cards.
Okay.
And then there was kind of a little bit of a gap in the history. And then we get to medieval Europe and 15th century Italy, and that's where one of the most well-known or oldest tarot decks, called a tarot deck, came about, and that was the Visconti Sforza deck. And that was named from one man. He was a noble. His name was Filippo Visconti, and then his son-in-law, who was Francesco Sforza, and they commissioned these decks, again, for a game. And that was where the word Tarochi or Trionfi comes in, which is the Italian word for tarot, which is French in origin.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's where they make that connection.
I hope y'all are keeping up with this because I'm there's a test at the end. There is a test at the end.
Yes, Michelle.
Well, so Crystal has been kind of putting some comments. One, she's loving the history that you're giving Jake. And she likes at all the different decks, but she also has different decks she's learning. Zara, hopefully her name is said right. She's also learning to do tarot with a regular deck of cards.
Yeah, you can.
Good. So you've got Crystal and Zara and all them that are kind of talking about the whole learning how to do it, different decks, and you know how everybody's got their different styles.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, cool.
I do know that there are people that do use regular playing cards.
And Daphne wants to also know, Jake, so what does tarot mean?
I wasn't able to find that out, except the best answer I could come up with for that is tarot, like I said, is a French version of the Italian word, which is tarocchi. And then another Italian variation of that is trionfi, which actually translates to trumps, which was the name of the original game.
I'm looking it up on. I'm googling it. I like with it. Let's see. Why won't you let me click on this to just enlarge it?
It was on that resource I sent to you, Bill. It was just further up.
Oh, was it? Well, why didn't you say that?
Well, you were already Googling.
Let's go over the top.
It'll be etymology, right there. Scholars generally agree that tarot is the French derivative of the Italian word tarocchi. Historians aren't sure where the term tarocchi or tarocco came from. And then it talks about tarocco derived from an earlier term, trionfi, Italian for triumphs or Roman royal processions, which was the name of the game that they played with the cards.
Tarot is just like the dumbed down name for all these things because I don't speak French.
Pretty much.
Okay.
It's the French word for the game that they played.
So it's just a game.
Mm-hmm.
So tarot just means it's a card game, more or less.
Yes.
Is what in the original.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know how it's played exactly, but I know it's similar to today's version of Bridge.
Okay.
Okay, if you're using a regular deck,
Uh-huh.
how would they know on their, because they've got diamonds and hearts
Yep.
and clubs and spades, but how, if you're going to using a regular deck, how would you know how, I think you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. What do they mean? How do you get a
how do you
meaning
gonna
out
know
of
what
them?
they're meaning? Because you got these
Right.
tarot cards that has the cups, the swords, and stuff, but a regular deck doesn't have that. So how would you know what you're reading?
Okay, so that kind of fast forwards a little bit into the 20th century with a group known as the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. And that was a group of a bunch of different people. Some of them are well known, like the author Bram Stoker was a member at one point. And essentially what this group did is they focused on the mysticism of the world and of the universe.
I was a Boy Scout.
Not the same, Bill. And what happened was they started associating some of the astrological principles as well as the elements with different suits. So swords would be air, wands would be fire, cups water. And then you do the
Wow.
same idea. There's a counterpart with the playing cards, and because I don't use playing cards for that, I'm not 100% on how quite they line up. But essentially, it's that same idea where they associate certain elements with each of the suits, and then one is generally thought of as the start of a process, and then 10 being toward the end, and then you have your
Okay.
court cards,
Which is your
which would
Jack,
be like
Queen,
people.
and
Yep.
King. Okay. So if you know that, then you know that Jack, Queen, King is your courts, and everything else is like with the other thing. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
So
Cool.
I
That
would
works.
We've had a lot of questions and people wondering if there's a reading. Can you pull a card?
Okay, I pulled it.
Go ahead.
Oh, interesting. So this is one of the trump cards, because you can totally see that from here. It's the High Priestess, and what this is most commonly referring to is it has to do a lot with introspection, but there's also a little bit of kind of some secrecy that's going on. It's also associated with the moon.
Okay.
And so that kind of feeds into this whole idea of secrecy and the mystery of the moon and those kinds of things, and things that are done in the shadows and kind of in the background. A little bit of unknown stuff going on here.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would say with this is that it has to do with a lack of information. Okay, there's things that people don't have access to
Mm-hmm.
that would be able to inform their next steps. So there's some information that they need to get access to before they can really decide to go one way or the other.
Okay.
With this one is what I would say.
Okay.
So if that means anything to you, that card, I mean, that card could have been for anyone who asked if a card got pulled and read. Just kind of think about what he talked about, going forward in your life or anything. There's some more information you might need to be able to access your next phase in your life.
And also intuition as well. A little bit of intuition is involved with that.
Okay.
So how long does it take if somebody wants to start reading the tarot cards? How long does it take for a person to actually know? I mean, it just depends on the person.
It
and
does
what time.
depend on the person and how much time they devote to it. I've seen people doing flashcards where they write each card on one side and then they have the meanings on the back for both right side up and reversed. And so then they kind of do it in a flashcard type style, and some people learn that way.
Mm-hmm.
Other people do a tarot journal where they'll pull a card a day and then they'll talk about their feelings from the card. They look up the general meanings.
Okay.
And then there are people like me that just kind of jump into it, and most decks will come with a booklet that
Mhm.
goes over the meanings, and that was how I got started. Is I just actually my first deck was a gift that a friend got me because I had expressed interest in tarot, and so she got me the first deck, which is a smaller version of this, which is the Rider-Waite deck, and it came with a little booklet, and that was what I did. I just started doing readings on myself, and I had to start looking up the meanings.
Mm-hmm.
I also know that there are some people that do it completely intuitively.
So, say for instance, say the card that you just pulled, you would see something different than what Bill would see, right?
Correct.
I mean, each person may see it differently than other people, but then they may see the same thing.
Mhm.
But it just depends on how each person is looking at it.
Right. And part of that comes with, too, when you start doing your readings, you'll start to pick up on energetic patterns.
Okay.
And then I use those. So the energy that I get from the cards might be different than if another reader was watching me do that, because they're not doing the reading.
Mhm.
They might get energy in a different way. So
Okay.
they might see some similarities, but they might get a different message coming through. It just
Okay.
kind of depends on the individual.
Okay.
Can you? So since I started my journey and you've helped me out with everything that I've been working on, there's always one card
Mm-hmm.
that has some people look at it and it's a very misconception card.
Yes.
And you taught me this one, and I've talked to other people, and it's the same thing. And I'd like to get it out there, the death card.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain the basic meaning of the death card?
The death card basically just means starting a new cycle. Okay, death of one stage or one idea and the birth of another.
So it does not mean that you're going to die.
I have never seen it mean literal death in a
Unless
reading.
you touch Jake's cards and he kills you.
And for those who didn't
Okay.
hear that, because Michelle's microphone is probably muted, if you touch Jake's cards, that means you're going to die because he's going to kill you. You just pull one.
Strength.
Go for it.
So I just got the feeling to pull a card, and it was another trump card, and that was strength, right side up, because again, you can totally see it in detail. And so this is for someone that is struggling a little bit, kind of in a tough place, losing a little bit of hope. And so the strength card is just a reminder that you have the capability to do whatever you put your mind to. It's a reminder that you shouldn't be doubting yourself. So somebody that's watching has a little bit of self-doubt, and I don't think it's at the forefront of this person's mind. I think it's something that they would kind of have to reflect on before they really knew what the doubt was. But this is a general reminder that you got this, right? You have everything you need to do this. Okay, so it's all you.
Yeah.
So another question that's really kind of coming across for other people are all asking, maybe a card will jump out, but what does the future hold with health, wealth, and happiness wise?
So restate the question.
So if a card jumps out,
Uh-huh.
a couple questions have come. We've got a couple people that's asked the same question. Can you see what their future may hold, whether, their health, wealth,
For those people
happiness?
individually?
Just in
if-
general,
In
I
In
think.
general?
that's the question. So if a card jumps out, that's
Oh,
the question
okay.
to be answered.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I thought you were saying, like, could I right now do that and tell them?
No,
that
if
individual
a card
person.
just happened to jump
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
could you?
We can see what comes out. Yeah, for sure.
Now, I've noticed that sometimes when you are doing a reading, that you have some that are right side up and ones that are upside down.
Reversed. Yep.
Now, is the reversed? Can that be good or bad or both? It just depends on what the card is.
There's a couple things that I want to unpack in there. Some decks don't use reversed, so even if the card does come up reversed, the meaning isn't any different.
Okay.
There are also some readers that will choose not to read reversed, because then it's like 78 more meanings to learn.
Okay.
And then there are some that do choose to read reversed. And then what comes with that is some cards, the reversed meaning is just an amplification of the right side up meaning. Some of them are the exact opposite. And some of them it's no change. So it depends on the card and it depends on the deck and the reader as well.
Let's see what card will pop out. Okay. Yes.
So John was on here and he's got a couple of decks, and I think one, if I'm saying it right, is his fairies deck.
Okay.
Which pretty much tell you how it is. There's no other way about it. They're just very blunt. Do you have a deck like that, like he does, that just for
Just tell it like it is.
I think all of my decks have done that at certain times. The one that does it most often is actually my Witch's Tarot by Ellen Dugan. That one's like a slap in the face sometimes. So that one, I have to be in the mood to read with that one because sometimes it tells me things I don't want to hear.
And we've had a couple people just ask if there comes a time, and I would say for Crystal, if you're looking at maybe a 3-card spread, maybe have her look you up on Facebook and talk to you through Messenger to explain that spread.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, and then also Jamie wanted a question, and that might be a little bit more. Jamie, go on to Jake's Messenger. She wants to know, when will she stop living behind a mask?
Okay.
So you might have those two come on there, because those two are a little bit more in depth. I think that should be more of a private thing.
Yep.
So I think we have enough time for Jake to pull one more card and do another reading, just any card, because then we're going to jump over to Kelly for a little while and do our next subject. So,
Okay.
and remember, there was a lot of questions asked, so this may pertain to you and it may not. So.
Oh, interesting. First one that's reversed. This is the Lovers. Now, a lot of people, when they see the Lovers, they immediately think romanticism. And it can, but in my experience, there's multiple types of love. There's familial, there's romantic, there's the kind that you have among friends, things of that nature. And so the Lovers tends to draw on all of those. And so it depends on the question that's being asked to really hone in on which one it's referring to. But with it being in reverse, what I would say is this one I'm actually feeling a little bit of a disconnect where someone has kind of moved away from some of their interests. They've kind of withdrawn from things a little bit. And so things that we normally would enjoy doing, there's a sense of drawing back from that. And what this is telling me is don't let that happen. Those things that we find joy are in our life to offset everything else that's going on. You know, if you have a stressful day at work, or something's going on with a family member and they're ill, or something like that, those things that we enjoy are there to take our mind off of it. And so this card is a reminder to not give up on those things, and not to withdraw. And certainly don't withdraw from your friends and your family that care about you as well.
Cool.
Perfect. Thanks, Jake.
You're welcome.
And we'll keep bringing your questions in for Jake. Again, if you want to do one of the other readings, or you want something you have private to ask for Jake, go ahead and shoot us a message or get a hold of Jake on Messenger and ask him directly. We don't want to put anybody's dirty laundry out here at all. So go ahead, Michelle.
So since we are getting a lot of questions, I have told everyone to go over to our Riverside, Iowa Paranormal group page, and there is a messenger. So it's a private messenger on the group page for Jake to go by later, and they can throw some questions out there and help him instead of
Awesome.
trying to find Jake.
Yeah.
It'll be on the messenger, so you can let them know they can ask questions continuously here, and he'll be able to answer them there.
Yeah, go on over to
Perfect.
the Riverside, Iowa Paranormal group page. If you're not a member, just request to be a member, and we'll let you in. And then you can talk to Jake directly there without having to, again, air any laundry or air anything you don't want any information put out there that could be bad for you. Yeah,
Yeah,
nice and private.
these can get very personal.
They can. Jake did the very first time you did a reading for me, it hit home really hard, and that was in that restaurant.
Mhm.
So he did a reading on you did which
Celtic Cross.
Celtic Cross. It's a big reading that goes
10
in depth.
cards.
Oh yeah, that was a big one.
Everybody's thanking Jake, and they'll probably be leaving some private messages for you.
All right, I'll look for them.
Cool.
So now we're gonna
Thank
jump
you,
over.
Jake.
We're gonna jump over here to Miss Kelly. Again, Miss Kelly just received her level 1 and level 2 certificates for Reiki. Congratulations! She's going on to become her master's here soon, hopefully. After a little bit of time dwelling into it. So I just have one question. What is this Reiki me stuff?
It's not Rake Me, it's Reiki. Oh my God. Where'd you get this Rake Me stuff from?
Michelle.
She is.
So now what is Reiki?
Reiki is, it's like a healing, it's a
We put her on the
Sorry.
spot.
Yeah, you guys put me on the spot, but it's healing of the body's energy system. It's to help improve health and quality of life by offering the Reiki, the energy, and restoring balance. Reiki is used, like for self-care, care for one's family. A lot of hospitals use it right now, and which is helping. And they've used it in what do you want to call it, the operating rooms, and
Wait, back up. You said they use this in hospitals?
Yeah, they
Yes.
offer it now in
yes,
the
they
hospitals.
offer it in hospitals
Since
now.
when?
There's over 800 hospitals that do it.
They offer it at the Children's Hospital
Yeah.
too, and they also,
Huh.
because it also includes meditation.
Right.
Yes.
It actually is becoming something, especially when you're working with children. They
Yep.
do it with children more to help with pain and all that.
Yeah.
And for you, Miss Kelly, Crystal, who says she was meant to watch this show because now you're talking, she's a level 3.
Awesome.
And with the
Wow.
tarot and the Reiki. So,
Awesome, Crystal.
and also Christina has been a massage therapist for over 15 years. So she is very familiar with the Reiki too.
Yes.
So take it away.
Yeah,
You've
you
got
can
your
you
group.
can you can use it in massage therapy. The teacher that I had that taught me for my 1 and 2, she was a massage therapist, and she uses Reiki in hers too. And Reiki is awesome. It's just the way that you can do it is just, you use your hands and you don't touch the person, but your hands are just above the person. You do all their chakras. it doesn't necessarily have to be their chakras. You can do Reiki on their arms. You can do it on their legs. You can do it on their feet. You can do it from a distance. You can do long distance ones, but with long distance ones, technically you can do that, but you need to get permission from them. And it's better if you do, just in case if something happens or whatever. But the founder of Reiki is Dr. Miyeho Yusowi.
Good job.
Thank you.
That's good.
I've been practicing that. But he was born to a wealthy Buddhist family, and he would go to, I believe it was the monks, and he would meditate with them, and then he started doing the Reiki, and then he taught it to a lot of students. And but his interest, he's always been in medicine, psychology, theology. So when he started doing the Reiki, he kind of put them all together to help and stuff. There's I don't know what I was going to say now. I just lost my train of thought. It happens. But yeah, he excuse me, he trained in the monastery, and he was over in Japan is where he did all of this. And so it's very interesting the way that they do it. I mean, for me, I believe I was doing it before I even started doing, went to the class, and whoa, hello. Yeah.
No, keep
Oh, anyway, I went to a class, and I think that's what my calling was, is I was to go to this class to get my Reiki, and because I love to heal people. It's just, there's just something about it that I have to heal people. That's just how my feeling is. And it's amazing. If anybody, whoever has done it, it's a wonderful feeling. I mean, because you can do Reiki on yourself. You can do Reiki you can also do it on animals too.
So is Reiki a form of almost like, I want to say, pulling out or evacuating someone's bad energy or pain, or is it kind of what it does?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
It's when you're going to do the Reiki, it's called a scanning. And what you do is you have to use your non-dominant hand. And when you do, like for me, it'd be my left hand, because on my right hand I'm dominant. But you take your left hand and you just do a scanning over the person from the head all the way down to their arms, all the way down to their feet. And when you're doing the scanning, you can tell if there is a certain area that is really where they really, really need the Reiki. It could be their head. It could be, Michelle.
Well, Daphne would like to know, what should she focus on to quit smoking with the Reiki? So if you're doing the Reiki, if you can do it to yourself, or if she sees somebody for Reiki, what should she focus on to help her with quit smoking? What would you recommend?
She can do Reiki. It would be probably, let's see, where would she would, yeah, you would have to do it around in your heart area. I mean, you can do it on yourself. I mean, you can put your hands like this on you, and you can meditate and do that. And what's the word I want? Yeah. I'm new to this, so it's.
So if you were to do it on your own, okay, when you're talking about putting the hands here on the chest, what should they be thinking about when they're doing that?
They need to be concentrating on their chakra. As you can be like this, and you be taking deep breaths, and you would say to yourself, I'm healing myself so that way I can quit smoking. It's just, you have to guide yourself into that as you're doing it. I don't want to keep my hands
So is
up
there
here, but
visualization with this too? Like, should they be
You can.
visualizing themselves quitting smoking?
You can, yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can visualize. It's like if you're doing the distance one, you can visualize, if you visualize the person on the table, but if you can't visualize the person, then you can put like a teddy bear or something there and you can see, okay, this is where it is. Because in my class that I did, we did that, but we didn't have a teddy bear, but I visualized as if that person was there and stuff. If you can do that, you can. If you can't, then that's when the teddy bear comes in. Yes.
Daphne also wanted to know, was it, she said my chakra or the middle chakra?
Which one should we be concentrating on? For
Should
that.
she be doing mine is the, how do you say, the sacral chakra,
Mm-hmm.
and then, or the middle chakra? She's wanting to know which one.
I would do the I call it the heart chakra. I would do that because then that would help. And if you want to do the heart chakra and then you want to do the other one here, man,
Solar plexus.
thank you. You can do that. You can do one and you can do the other, one right after the other.
Still with the intention to quit smoking on the
With
second one, though?
yes, with the intention, yes. It's just you have to meditate. You have to put your whole heart and soul into it to do this. You have to be really wanting to do that, to quit. You had a question?
No, I
Oh.
was just making the comment, would you actually just do it in that main, or would they have to go in with the full intention and you do like the full body, Reiki to do the cleansing, like you're taking out all
Mhm.
that,
Yeah,
so.
if she's wanting to do all of it, you would do the full Reiki. I mean, you would go from your top chakra down to your lower chakra. You go from one to the other, and when you're doing it, doing the Reiki, and you got your hands there, there may be a spot where you keep it longer, which means, okay, you need to stay right there for a little bit because that's where you need it most. And then once you know that it's done, then you can move on to the next one.
So when you're doing Reiki on someone, so say you had Daphne here
Mhm.
and you were doing Reiki on her,
Mhm.
you would start your head and go down. Do you feel the spot? Can you sense the spot where you need to do it more, where you need to concentrate more? So when you go through, then you
Do
go
the
back
scanning.
to that one spot, or do you stop there and then keep
No.
pushing it?
I do the scanning first, and then when I know that there's that spot, then I will start at the head, going from their
The crown
the
chakra.
crown chakra. Then I'll go there. Then I go here, and then the eyes. You got your throat, the heart, and then keep on going. And then I would go down to their feet, because a lot of times, sometimes, if you do their feet, sometimes it will bring some of that out of their feet. I don't know what it is, but with me, no, a lot of times I can do their feet and I can take some of the pain away or whatever.
Well, we've always said you help ground people,
Mhm.
and you help pull people. So, and one of the biggest ways to ground, we've always talked about one of the biggest ways to ground is to pretty much stand barefoot on the ground to let it out. So
Mhm.
it makes sense that you're pulling everything from the body down through the
Yeah.
feet and pulling it all out. That is awesome.
Yeah. And there's meditations that you can do where you can imagine yourself for out in a field, and then you come to a door and you open that door. Then all of a sudden you see this gold ribbon coming down, and you can just imagine it going all through your whole body, down through your arms, your legs, your feet, and then it hitting the earth and open up into the earth. And then you see a silver ribbon coming back up through, going through all parts of you and everything, coming back up out of your head, and then it's going through that door, and then you shut the door. And that's a meditation that you can do that will help too for when
And
you get
you've got
ready.
tons of people right now. They're like, you're spot on. They're loving it. Everybody loves the grounding and all that. So you're definitely right where you're supposed to be.
Cool.
Can you, is it possible that someone can actually feel? So we talk a lot about, somebody having a blocked chakra.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible? And I don't know if this is even part of Reiki. If it's not, just tell me and I'll stop. Can you sense your own blocked chakra and use the Reiki to help unblock it?
Mm-hmm.
So how would you sense it?
That's when you do the scanning.
Okay.
And once you get this part of your chakras aligned, then all the rest of your chakras were lined up.
Okay.
Because if you can get all of your chakras lined up, then everything else is fine. You're happy. You feel good and everything. It's a good feeling. I've done it at night, trying to go to sleep, and I just did a Reiki on me, and I slept pretty good that night. So yeah. So what?
For those of you who can't see it, Michelle's got a weird look on her face sitting behind the camera.
But,
Well, she rake me'd herself. So I was just kind of curious. And
Rake
then she
me.
slept real good.
Reiki. I didn't rake me. I Reiki'd.
I have questions.
Of course you do, Bill.
But Reiki is a spiritual. What's the other word I want? Spiritually, is what it is, and it is not. I want to specifically say this because a lot of people are going to ask it, but Reiki is not a religion. It is not a philosophy. It is not a substitute for treatment by a doctor or a counselor. It is not massage therapy. It is not a method of fixing people or situations. It is not a method of making people change. It is also not a replacement for your natural flow of life force, energy. What Reiki is, it's a tool or practice that facilitates balance. When the body, mind, and spirit are all in balance, the body, mind, and spirit can heal themselves. That's why I was saying if you have your chakras all lined up, then everything falls in place.
I think my chakras are in different states right now.
Well, get them back.
But me, it's like when we go doing our, like we're at Missouri State Penn and there's somebody there that's having a problem. For some reason, I take them out, and for some reason, I always say, I'm going to put my hand on your chest, and I put my hand on their back. For some reason, that is where I need to have my hands to help them feel better. And I do that, and then a few seconds later, they're fine. And I can feel that.
And each one of us have seen you do that.
Yes.
And it's amazing to watch you do that. And it's amazing to watch you go through and watching a person that's not doing well, having trouble breathing, having trouble just, they're lost in their own darkness at that stage, and watching you take them to the side and watching you work with them and just even being with them and whatever you're doing to them, because I don't know. I'm not Yoda. The force is with you. I'm saying that. I won't say it.
Well, it's just something tells me I need to help these people. I mean, like I said, I was doing that before I even took the Reiki classes.
Yeah.
And it is just okay.
And I do believe that you're right. The Reiki was a calling for you. It was something that you were called to do. I mean, you were already doing it. You were already helping people out. And now all of a sudden, there is you found the guidance to help you even go better and go further and go deeper and to help out other people even more.
Yeah.
So I think it's awesome.
It's like one of the people from Ghost Hunts USA, when he was having it really, really bad. I mean, he was crying, and I was sitting at the table. All of a sudden, I just got up. I went over. Can I demonstrate on you?
Go for it.
I told him, I said, I'm going to put my hand on you. So I went right here and I did this. And next thing he know, he says he just felt it come up out of his head. And he said he felt a lot better, which I thought, okay, I just automatically went over there to help him. I do that. It's, and it's amazing, but I don't do it on you guys. That's one thing I don't do. So I don't do the Reiki on you guys because no, I'm not crossing that line. Yes.
So Melissa and them said they watch you calm her sister down, and that takes some doing. And Christina and them have said definitely it's your calling and you're phenomenal, and they have seen you in action when we've been on some events and stuff like that. So I just wanted to make sure you've heard from them.
Thank you.
There was one question that was out there, and I'm not sure if you know the answer, but Wanda would like to know, could this help with autism, especially on a child?
Wow.
Oh, I don't know if it could. I mean, it could a little bit to help calm them down a little bit. I mean, for me, there's times that I get really anxiety, so I just do some breathing techniques, but I don't know really.
That would be a really rough one, only because autism is such an imbalance in the mental. But it's
if it was done by their parents, it might be okay. If they knew how to actually do the Reiki, they might be able to do that. But I don't know.
That is something that I don't think all the stuff that we looked up about Reiki to just kind of get prepared for the show, I don't think we read anything about anyone even attempting or trying that with someone who's autistic.
Well,
so that's a good question.
Yeah, because doesn't somebody have to give their permission to accept Reiki for it to work?
Yes.
So would that mean something to the point of, depending on the spectrum of autism, is kind of be able to get, that permission?
Yeah, like what if they're nonverbal?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be. Yeah, I would have to read
That's
up
a
on
good
that
one.
to see.
That would be really. I would put
Right.
that, and also, I know energy. Also, one said energy is energy as long as it's calm energy, it should be fine. So even if it's something that when you're working with a child with autism, if you have the good energy and it just feeds through, it could be possible. But Jamie asked, is this something you would say people are born with to do this? Or can it be taught from scratch for healing and calming?
Some people are born with it, but then some of them can be taught how to do it. That's where you would have to go to the class, and they would teach you how to actually do the Reiki. You're using your own energy from your body. I mean, it's mostly it's out of your hands, but you're using your energy to go through them, but then they're using their energy to come back out. So you're kind of using both their and yours.
Do you think that at your point now in your life, that your past experiences in life have helped guide you and build the energy and get you to this stage in your life where Reiki, you're able to help people?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've always wanted to help people, but now I know that this is how I'm supposed to help people, is through Reiki. It's like when we're at one of the events, and I do that, there are times that I can feel that sadness, that whatever, come out of them, and it's hard to explain how it is, but when you can feel all of that coming out. Yes.
Well, and somebody actually did put something down that makes sense. Some people can do it naturally like you, but Reiki is a specific discipline, and I guess that's kind of what you would say. So, I mean, in that, where would you put yourself in that category? Because even though you're learning the Reiki side,
Mhm.
you were actually a healer on the other side.
Mhm.
So where are you putting yourself right now?
Mm. Oh man, I never thought about it. I'd be a healer, is what it is. Yeah.
So I think it'd be a healer using Reiki techniques.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
what it'd be? Because you're
Yeah.
you're already healing,
Mhm.
and you've already been doing that. Well, now you're incorporating the Reiki piece of it. So you're expanding your healing knowledge, is what you're doing.
Yes. Yes.
And Jamie summed it up really good. She said she's a balanced scale.
Oh,
Ooh, I like that analogy.
That's
Yeah.
deep.
that's cool.
That's really deep.
Wow. Thanks, Jamie.
Gold star for Jamie.
So he's a teacher.
Although I think Jamie and them have seen me do that. So, but yeah, if that's something that you want to do, I would look around and see where you can. It can get expensive, but you know, if that's what you want to do is to help people, do a healing. That's what you feel like you want to do. That'd be great.
Another question, Kelly, well, there's two questions. One, Daphne would like to know, are you by chance a nurse?
Nope.
And then the second one is, are you an empath?
No, I'm not. I'm more sensitive. I'm what you call a sensitive healer because I can feel the emotions really bad sometimes.
Or we could say you're like an enema. You get in there and you flush everybody
I was
out.
not sure where that was going.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so glad you explained
Oh
that.
my gosh. Well, I guess. No.
Wow, I did not know where that was going.
Wow. On
That was a good one.
On
That
kind of
was
that
good.
note, since we got the crap to flow. So, if you guys have any other questions for Kelly, we are running out of time here. But again, you can go over to the Riverside, Iowa Paranormal Group and message Kelly directly. Now I have to read it. What?
She's the best kind of enema.
How's that make you
But
feel?
I do have one more question before we go, though. This is actually a good question for Kelly. Does Reiki and holistic healing work together?
Holistic.
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 Oh.
Can they work together?
Do you know what holistic training or healing is?
But yeah.
I think Reiki can work with any.
Yeah.
Alongside of anything, and look, as like Michelle said in the beginning, they're using Reiki. They're offering it in hospitals now, along with meditations and everything else. So
also we'll do it in operating rooms too.
Yep.
Which yeah, there are some hospitals that do it in the operating room. Like I said, there's over 800 hospitals that use Reiki. I don't know which ones they are, but there are over that many.
So Susan actually did say, she would say Reiki is holistic. So it's kind of 2 in 1 in how you do it.
Mhm.
So
Cool.
So we are running out of time here. Again, if you have any questions for Kelly or you want to contact Jake, please go over to our group page, Riverside, Iowa Paranormal Group. Again, if you do not have access to the group, just request access, and one of these guys will grant you access, and you can come on in. And then you can private message Kelly or Jake and talk to them so you're not right in front of everyone. Michelle?
no, I was just saying some people that are on, Susan is on and has been writing some things on there too. And she's actually been putting some good information. The government has researched Reiki and they use them in the warrior programs for soldiers on base.
Oh, wow.
Most hospitals that use it are pretty much on the East Coast. So if anybody has any more questions, you guys will be able to talk to Kelly on Messenger. And Susan, because it looks like Susan has done, kind of knows what's going on too. She was replying to Wanda. But between them two, I'm pretty sure everybody can get something.
What Jamie just said right there, amazing for PTSD.
Yes.
It is. It is amazing. It helps a lot, especially if you can get the person to relax so that you can do that. That's the important thing, is you need to get the person relaxed so that way you can do the Reiki on them.
So I want to thank you guys for all being here tonight. Thank our entire family out there, our Facebook family. Remember, this show is just as much is your show than it is ours. And thank you, Jake and Kelly and
Thank you.
Drew and Michelle behind the camera tonight, answering all the questions and taking care of things. Thank you guys for being back there.
Thank you.
Thank you to everybody. You guys are awesome. We'll be back here again next week. Next week's going to be a wild one. You really want to join in on this one next Saturday? We're going to be talking about herbs, and we may be mixing up some stuff, and y'all don't want to miss that, because when the giggles start, when certain herbs get crushed and mixed together, y'all don't want to miss this at all. So join us next week right back here on Into the Dark, live here on the Spirit Realm Network. We are Riverside, Iowa Paranormal. Thank you guys for being back here. Thank you for being with us, and we will see you in the dark.